Hello everyone. I hope everyone is having a great day, whether you are 5 hours away or a day away. Remember, I love you, and I hope everyone is having a happy holiday, happy Hanukkah, even if you celebrate Kwanzaa, which I personally don't really care for because it's a very inaccurate holiday. African Americans or those of the transatlantic slave trade or the Middle Passage, we do not descend from Ethiopia. We most likely descend from places in West Africa such as Nigeria, Ghana, Mali, Togo and Benin, Liberia, Sierra Leone, those places, parts of Central Africa even. Some of us may even have Bantu ancestry from Southern Africa, but we probably are not East African, and we probably are not North African, and if we are, we have a very small percentage. And more than likely, if we do have some North African in us, it is because some of us may be of Fulani descent, and Fulanis are a mixture of West African indigenous and correct me if I'm pronouncing it wrong, Amazi, which is an ethnic group in parts of North Africa, such as Morocco. So I just wanted to give y'all a little bit of history because some of y'all be saying, oh, African Americans, you know, our motherland is Ethiopia. No, I mean, I love Ethiopians. You know, I love all parts of Africa. I love Amene, but, you know, we got to be accurate, okay? Okay, I'm being an asshole right now. Anyway, I just want to talk briefly about Kim K and the racially ambiguous complex that so many women have, where they believe by looking a little bit less white, they are going to get accolades from the Black community, in particular Black men, because a lot of white women realize that Black men a lot of times may not date white women, but they date Black women or women of color who may have features that align with a more white or European standard of beauty. So a lot of white women decide, okay, I'm going to plump my lips. Okay, I'm going to get a bigger bum. Okay, I'm going to darken my skin with some bronzer or some foundation, or get a spray tan, or get a natural tan. And that'll make a lot of Black men like me, because I feel a lot of white women who think that way aren't the most popular or attractive within their own group of people that they belong to, okay? Like a lot of these white girls who blackfish, you know, they weren't the prettiest, you know, they didn't get a lot of attention from white guys, you know, white guys like the more skinnier Megan Fox types or Margot Robbies or Samara Weavers, and they were the plain Janes, and they got a little bit tan and they got a little bit curvier. They started plumping their lips, doing makeup to make themselves look more ambiguous and exotic, and boom, they are the hot girls of the more ethnically ambiguous community. And these people hang out with Black men that don't really like Black women, or they don't like Black women with darker skin or fuller features, and they like to hang out with women that look like Kim K. And the reason why I'm speaking of this is because a couple of days ago, there was a photo shoot that Kim Kardashian did, and she was supposedly paying homage to Elizabeth Taylor, but then when the finishing product came out, she appeared as a very light-skinned Black woman, and in my opinion, she looked a combination of Diane Carroll, Diana Ross, Beyonce. Like, she looked like Diane Ross knows, okay? Like, that's what she looked like. And in my opinion, I think it was blackface. I definitely think it is blackface, just because historically blackface was intended to have actors pretend to be Black, because Black people were not allowed to act. They didn't want Black people to have any type of opportunities outside of being sharecroppers or maids or jobs that did not make a lot of money. So that's originally what blackface derived from. It wasn't simply just making fun of Black people and their features. It was simply people pretending to be black or brown. You know, there was yellowface. You know, in the Madame Bovary play, they had people that were white pretending to be Asians because they didn't really hire those of color. So they had people pretending to be people of color in order to make up for the fact that there weren't any people of color actors, and because of the fact that people of color were discriminated against. So the most famous form of that was blackface. And the thing about blackface, you know, with red skeleton, all of that, people did use blackface to kind of mock black people. We're watermelon pickaninnies, we eat fried chicken, we are simple-minded people. But what Kim is essentially doing is kind of like how people did blackface, or even, you know, female face in 1700 plays and 1800 plays, where they don't really want to hire a black person. They don't really want to hire a woman for this role. So they are just going to get a man or a white person to pretend to be a black person or a woman so people can be satisfied. Because people are saying, you're doing all this photo shoots and all these aesthetics for what, when you can hire an actual black woman, an actual brown skin, or a very dark skinned woman. But you're having people just darken their skin to make up for the fact that there is not really any diversity in your modeling and hiring process. And it's very unfortunate that Kim and her family have partaken in all of this. Kim is very much aware of her privilege. She is very much aware of her standing in black culture and white culture. She understands that she is the epitome of beauty when it comes to whiteness. However, she is aware that there are certain features that black women have that get to be exotified, or it gets to be fetishized in a way where they are seen as desirable, but not particularly on black women. So she is able to navigate as a white woman with features that are denoted as black or more ethnic. And she understands this. And the fact that she keeps bringing up the fact that she's Armenian as an excuse, you know, I don't really know many Armenians. I'm not going to act like I know how Armenian culture works. What I understand is that there are white Armenians. I understand that there are brown Armenians, but people love to bring up the fact that she's Armenian to excuse the fact that she is a woman navigating as a white woman with her white privilege, and she exploits off of black and brown culture due to that. And there are a lot of Armenians who actually are offended by Kim, and they don't really like Kim because they feel like, well, that doesn't really represent us. And as well as that, I also find Kim annoying doing all of this. So you can't just use one person as a representation of a very diverse and a very broad culture, which I completely understand, because Armenia is in the Caucasus region. It is an Asian country. I was told that it is European. It is not a European country. It is in the middle of Asia. It is smack dab in the Middle East. Okay, so technically Kim's family and heritage, they are Middle Easterners, but what I am understanding is that they have white privilege. They are white Middle Easterners. And people love using that to basically say, well, it's okay because she's a woman of color, when POC solidarity is not a thing. Just because she's a woman of color does not mean she cannot use her proximity to non-blackness to harm black people, particularly black women. I mean, look at Snow Allegra, who is a very popular R&B singer at the moment. She is of Iranian heritage. Some people say that she's Persian. My understanding is every Iranian is not Persian. Persians are ethnic, they are an ethnic group of Iran. Every person that's Iranian is not Persian. People have called Yara Shahidi Persian because of her father, and they may very well be Persian, but what I am understanding is people are just calling any person that's Iranian Persian. And no, Persians are an ethnic group within Iran, like in the country, the Persian Empire, okay? But basically, Snow Allegra is a brown Iranian woman, and I actually like some of her music, and I've listened to some of her songs, and it's been found out that she may have not been the most respectful person in the past. There is a tweet from 2012 where she is quoting Tyler, the Creator, saying, "Got my black bitches mad because my main bitch vanilla." And even though she was only quoting Tyler, clearly as a non-black woman with very light skin, she related to that line, because a lot of non-black women understand their desirability as not being black. They understand that because they are not black, because they have features that are denoted as not black, that people like them because of that. So she is more than likely one of those people who has no problem with black culture in the men, but she's not exactly the friendliest with black women. People have observed that she doesn't really collaborate with black women. She doesn't really befriend black women. All of the men on her Instagram are black. She hangs out with nothing but black men, because these are the men that are allowing her in the spaces that black women oftentimes have to fight to stay because of desirability, because of the fact that they may be too dark, or their hair may not be curly or straight enough, or they may not have features that are considered conventionally attractive. And people like Snow Allegra can just come in stepping all over black women, making jokes about how we're bitter and mad and ugly, and we're just jealous of the pretty, nice, non-black women. And she gets these passes. And there's another tweet that Snow Allegra made where she had said the N-word, and her friend Seven is saying, well, I wrote that tweet and I was essentially just joking around because it said his at is the realest nigga. And people are like, okay, well, you said it was from her computer, but it also says tweeted from iPhone. So did you take Snow Allegra's iPhone and just tweet that as a joke? Like, I'm not understanding. I don't believe it. I think that Snow is full of shit. It's very unfortunate that we can't really support non-black women just for making music, because a lot of times people who are involved in black culture don't really have respect for black women. They pretty much come in with their privilege, understanding that they can just step all over us and it's okay because we're black women and we're supposed to just accept it. We're supposed to move on and get over it. One man who is a music critic told me to cry himself a river because of the fact that I basically said, as a man, you can't really say you're not going to cancel Snow Allegra because her comments essentially offend black women, and she is a non-black woman who's hanging out with black men. She's hanging out with Michael B. Jordan, who is known to not really like or find black women attractive, and she's all booed up in a music video with him, which I think that's why people looked up her tweets with the N-word. And people are saying, oh, you're only saying this because she is with Michael B. Jordan. My thing is, so what? I mean, if she wasn't with Michael B. Jordan, maybe I would not have really been bothered as much. But the fact that she's a non-black woman who hangs out with men who are debatable with whether they like black women or not, that makes her look bad, because as a non-black woman, you really shouldn't be around men who don't respect black women. Kim Kardashian, if you truly respected black culture and you appreciated black women and their aesthetic, you wouldn't marry Kanye, who has made disparaging remarks about black women. Like, it's common sense. And I don't understand why people think that these women respect us, but they continue to date and sleep with men who do not respect black women, who have made disparaging comments about black women. What I think it is, it's envy. You envy black culture. You envy black women. You want to be like black women. You want to date men that look like us. And then you see black women as competition because we're a threat. We don't look like you. And there are men who kind of look at women like Kim and Snow as kind of plain, not as attractive. And, you know, that's their preference. That there's different cultural standards. But these women come into the culture understanding that they may not be everyone's preference. So they latch themselves onto men who are successful and make money off of misogyny, war, and colorism. And they feel like they are at the top of the game because they are light-skinned and because they are with men who are rich and basically not paying attention to the black bitches, you know, that essentially look like them, because like I said before, they understand that they're not black, and that's why people see them as attractive. I mean, when I was in high school, that was the main thing a lot of girls said to me, that, you know, you're not pretty because you're black, or your hair's short and your skin's darker than me. So again, it's like y'all want to be a little bit black, but y'all don't actually want to have the experience of black women.